Good morning, boys and girls. I bet you can figure out where I am today. I'm going to read the last chapter of The 100 Dresses to you today from the auditorium at Polk Avenue Elementary School. This is the last chapter of the last book of your last year to be at Polk Avenue Elementary in the auditorium. Some of you have been at Polk Avenue since kindergarten, since pre-K probably. Some of you have just been with us for a couple of years. So we hope that you have enjoyed your time at Polk Avenue. We hope that you have learned what you need to know academically, socially, and about being a leader while you've been here at Polk Avenue. And now, as you are a fifth grader, very soon to be leaving our cardinal nest, we hope that you take all of these things with you and are able to go out into the world, be a productive member in your middle schools, wherever you may end up, and then continue that on. Your elementary career is coming to a close, and it's a very important part of your life. You may not realize it now, but when you look back on it, it'll bring a lot of good memories. So with that, I decided to come to the auditorium and read the last chapter to you. The 100 Dresses is the book that we are finishing today by Eleanor Estes, and the title of the last chapter is The Letter to Room 13. On Saturday, Maddie spent the afternoon with Peggy. They were writing a letter to Wanda Petronsky. It was just a friendly letter telling about the contest and telling Wanda she had won. They told her how pretty her drawings were and that now they were studying about Winfield Scott in school. And they asked her if she liked where she was living now and if she liked her new teacher. They had meant to say they were sorry, but it ended up with just them writing a friendly letter, the kind they would have written to any good friend. And they signed it with lots of X's for love. They mailed the letter to Boggins Heights, writing, "Please forward" on the envelope. The teacher had not known where Wanda had moved to. Their only hope was that the post office knew. The minute they dropped the letter in the mailbox, they both felt happier and more carefree. Here's a picture of them writing that letter. Days passed and there was no answer. But the letter did not come back, so maybe Wanda had received it. Perhaps she was so hurt and angry she was not going to answer, and you could not blame her. And Maddie remembered the way she hitched her left shoulder up as she walked off to school alone, and how the girls always said, "Why does her dress hang funny like that? And why does she wear those weird high-laced shoes?" They knew she didn't have any mother, but they hadn't thought any about it. They hadn't thought she had to do her own washing and ironing. She only had one dress, and she must have had to wash and iron it overnight. Maybe sometimes it wasn't dry when it was time to put it on in the morning, but it was always clean. Several weeks went by, and still Wanda did not answer. Peggy had begun to forget the whole business, and Maddie put herself to sleep at night, making speeches about Wanda. She would also defend her from great crowds of girls who were trying to tease with her. "How many dresses have you got?" Before Wanda could press her lips together in a tight line the way she did before answering, Maddie would cry out, "Stop! This girl is a girl just like you are." And then everybody would feel ashamed the way she used to feel. Sometimes she rescued Wanda from a sinking ship or the hoofs of a runaway horse. "Oh, that's all right," she'd say when Wanda thanked her with dull, pained eyes. So Maddie is really trying to make herself feel better and pretending that she was able to protect her. Now it was Christmas time and there was snow on the ground. Christmas bells and a small tree decorated the classroom. and on one narrow blackboard, Jack Beggles had drawn a jolly fat Santa Claus in red and white chalk. On the last day of school before the holidays, the children in Peggy and Maddie's class had a Christmas party. Pretty good drawing of Santa Claus there. The teacher's desk was rolled back and a piano rolled in. First, the children had acted the story of Tiny Tim. Then they had sung songs, and Cecile had done some dances in different costumes. The dance called The Passing of Autumn, in which the she whirled and spun like a red and golden autumn leaf, was the favorite. After the party, the teacher said she had a surprise, and she showed the class a letter she had received that morning. "Guess who this is from?" she said. "You remember Wanda Petronsky, the bright little artist who won the drawing contest? Well, she has written me, and I am glad to know where she lives because now I can send her medal. And I hope it gets there for Christmas. I want to read her letter to you." The class sat up with sudden interest and listened intently to Miss Mason as she read the letter. "Dear Miss Mason, how are you in room 13? Please tell the girls they can keep those 100 dresses because in my new house I have 100 new ones all lined up in my closet. I'd like that girl Peggy to have the drawing of the green dress with the red trimming and her friend Maddie to have the blue one. For Christmas, I miss that school, and my teacher does not equalize with you. Merry Christmas to you and everybody. Yours truly, Wanda Petronsky." The teacher passed the letter around the room for everybody to see. It was pretty, decorated with a picture of a Christmas tree lighted up in the night in a park surrounded by high buildings. On the way home from school, Maddie and Peggy held their drawings very carefully. They had stayed late to help straighten up after the play, and it was getting dark. The houses looked warm and inviting with wreaths and holly and lighted trees in their windows. Outside the grocery store, hundreds of Christmas trees were stacked, and in the window, candy peppermint canes and cornucopias of shiny, bright, transparent paper were strung. The air smelled like Christmas, and bright lights everywhere reflected different colors on the snow. "The colors are like the colors in Wanda's 100 dresses," said Maddie. "Yes," said Peggy, holding her drawing out to look at it under the street lamp. "And boy, this shows she really liked us. It shows she got our letter, and this is her way of saying that everything's all right, and that's that," she said with finality. Peggy felt happy and relieved. It was Christmas and everything was fine. "I hope so," said Maddie sadly. She felt sad because she knew she would never see the tight-lipped Polish girl again and couldn't ever really make things right between them. She went home and she pinned her drawing over a torn place in the pink-flowered wallpaper in the bedroom. The shabby room came alive from the brilliancy of the colors. Maddie sat down on the edge of her bed and looked at the drawing. She had stood by and said nothing, but Wanda had been nice to her anyway. Boy, that's a lesson too we can learn. Wanda was nice anyway, even when people weren't nice to her. Tears blurred her eyes, and she gazed for a long time at the picture. Then hastily she rubbed her eyes and studied it intently. The colors in the dress were so vivid, she had scarcely noticed the face and head of the drawing, but it looked like her, Maddie. It really did. The same short blonde hair, blue eyes, and wide straight mouth. Why, it really looked like her own self. Wanda had really drawn this for her. Wanda had drawn her. In excitement, she ran over to Peggy's house. "Peg," she said, "let me see your picture." "What's the matter?" asked Peggy as they clattered up the stairs to her room where Wanda's drawing was lying face down on the bed. Maddie carefully lifted it up. "Look, she drew you. That's you," she exclaimed. And the head and face of this picture did look like the auburn-haired Peggy. "What did I say?" said Peggy. "She must have really liked us anyway." "Yes, she must have," agreed Maddie, and she blinked away the tears that came every time she thought of Wanda standing alone in that sunny spot in the schoolyard close to the wall, looking stolidly over at the group of laughing girls after she had walked off, after she had said, "Sure, 100 of them, all lined up." Boys and girls, I hope you've learned a very important lesson. There's several lessons here. One of them, you never know what other people are going through. So you need to treat them kindly and with respect. Even when other people are around, might not be treating them way, but don't be a coward like she was. You know how you want to be treated, and sometimes it's easy to get roped into making fun of people or making people feel less important than you, but don't get roped into that. It's important that you are kind to everyone. It is important that you treat people the way that you know that you should and the way that you want people to treat you. So as you move forward, think about the 100 dresses. Think about being more like Wanda, where you were kind to people no matter what. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this story. Of course, you can take an AR test on this book. I think it's only number 42. So take that test, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.